Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are now live. Welcome to a conversation with, and I am your humble host, Floyd Marshall Jr. Now, before we get everything started, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Please hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel because I want to keep bringing you guys amazing guests like the two that I am about to introduce you to. And once again, this is a conversation with Floyd Marshall Jr. I am your humble host. And today I am joined by the one and only Jess Mifflin, ladies before gentlemen, and Kevin Marable of the BlkScript. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have not heard about the BlkScript, listen up because the BlkScript is here, it's coming. And if you are a person of color in the film industry, this is definitely something that needs to be on your radar, whether you are a newcomer to this business or if you're a veteran. The BlkScript is definitely something that needs to be on your radar. So once again, I'm joined by the founder and creator of the BlkScript, Kevin Marable, and his amazing can't do without right hand partner, Jess Mifflin. Welcome to the show. How are you guys doing?
Yes, thank you so much, Floyd. We appreciate it. Truly
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. We're
Good,
doing
good.
great, man. Doing great. How are you?
Yeah, we're
How are
doing
you?
great.
Yo, I'm phenomenal. I'm phenomenal. This is an interview that I have definitely been looking forward to because I have been following the BlkScript, and this is how I found out about it. A very good friend of mine, Tiffany Yancey,
Yes.
was
Okay.
interviewed by you,
Yes.
and I watched that interview, and I was like, "Well, who, the what, the BlkScript?" And so when a couple of days after the interview was done, I called her up because this is when you were still in the beginning stages, and she said you were looking for some people,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, I really want to," but I have so much on my plate. I said no. Because if I am going to join something, I want to give it my all. So I said, well, I'm just going to lay back. But before we get all into all of that, can you guys introduce yourselves and just give us a brief background on what it is that you do at the BlkScript?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jess, do you want to go first?
Sure. So I'm Jessica Mifflin, and I've been acting as PR/media for the BlkScript. And basically, what I do is I am the liaison between the BlkScript and the talent that we've been interviewing, or Kevin's been interviewing. And I basically do all the admin work and things like that.
And my name is Kevin Marable. I'm the creator founder of the BlkScript, BlkScript.com. If you're unfamiliar, please visit the website / platform www.theblkscript.com. It is a platform for actors, screenwriters, and filmmakers of color.
So where did you come up with the concept for the BlkScript? How did that happen?
Okay, so it's a little bit of a long story, but I'll give you the all of the details, but in a short form fashion, if I can. Um, I'm an aspiring screenwriter, or I should say, I was. I'm still a screenwriter, but I put that to the side to focus on this. But at the time, I was an aspiring screenwriter, writing screenplays. I came from the music world initially, and I wanted to continue on my writing talent. With screenwriting and telling stories, and through my process of writing my own screenplays and also kind of getting a feel to what it takes to write screenplays within our walk of life, our culture, and things of that nature. I would do my own research online and look for other screenwriters of color and see kind of how they wrote certain scenarios and certain scenes within their screenplay to kind of get a feel as to what direction I should take whenever I would get stuck. And so through that process, I come across several websites that would host screenplays, but I would never find any websites that would host screenplays specifically from screenwriters of color. And so that kind of got my mind working a little bit. And I remember talking to my best friend about it and telling him, like, I keep running into this problem. I can't quite quite find, screenplays and things of that nature from people of color. And I thought to myself, well, what if I actually created a website and hosted screenplays from people of color? I can't seem to find one. Maybe there needs to be one. And, what if I fill that void? I come from a little bit of a background in building websites as well. And so my best friend was like, yeah, you should go for it. And the very next day I started to do more research on names, what I should call it, what domain name I should get and things of that nature. And I came up with the BlkScript. And so initially the BlkScript started off as a website purely for hosting scripts from screenwriters of color. That was what it initially was going to be. Through that process, I started talking about it on, various social media platforms, but TikTok at the time was the one that I was trying to gain attention on. And so I started talking about it on TikTok, and one of my posts started to gain traction. Several celebrities liked the post, and I started to get feedback. And a lot of the feedback was, well, are you going to offer any script submissions? What about film submissions? What about things for animators and musicians who want to get into doing film scores and stuff like that? And so that kind of got my mind working, and I tried to figure out, well, what is it that I can offer, with my knowledge in building websites, and kind of fill those voids. And I also realized that there were voids there as well. And so that's when I started to add on to the platform and really create a space to where not only you can submit your screenplay in the script submission portion of it, you can also submit a film, documentary, short films, things of that nature. And then also we have other various resources that we're building up on the platform. And there's also a networking aspect to it as well, social networking aspect to it as well, where you can actually join for free and interact with the other members. There's a little over 300 members on the site, other like-minded individuals, and some of these people are within the industry, whether on the independent side or within the business. And I'm trying to grow that. We're trying to grow that up to make it a stronger platform today.
Oh, okay. So my first thing is this: I need you to do me a favor.
Sure.
I need you to get rid of that word trying.
Yes.
Because you're not trying anything, you're doing it.
Yes.
There are levels to this. There's a process to this. So you're not trying to do anything. You're doing it.
Absolutely.
So we gonna get rid of that word right there. But I want to go back for a second, because you said that when you first developed the website, and various people would come on the website, they would look at it, and they were asking you about, well, are you going to add film submissions, music, things of that nature? What were they talking about? Because were they talking about, were you going to try to do it from the standpoint of a film festival, or were they asking you, were you going to take film submissions so that you could then critique the films? What was their what were they talking about with that?
So as far as the screenplays, first and foremost, because that's where I started, the screenplays, a lot of times, there's other platforms, and I'll leave them nameless for now, but if you are a screenwriter, you would know who I'm talking about. But there's a lot of other websites out there that offer screenplay submissions. And when you submit your screenplay, a lot of times, you pay the entry fee. Sometimes there's not an entry fee. And then, you can also pay for feedback. And when you enter into some of these submissions, you're especially if you have a screenplay, and you're a screenwriter of color, oftentimes you may not get the feedback that you were looking for, because some of these script readers may not understand your walk of life, or don't come from our culture, or what have you. And so a lot of times our screenplays can get lost in the sauce there. And what I wanted to do is offer a alternative to where, when you submit your screenplay, we have script readers who are people of color and can kind of, understand a little bit more as to what our stories are about, and give feedback in that particular nature. And so that's where I started. And as far as the films are concerned, they were initially going to be more so like a platform. I also have a streaming aspect to my website as well. Right now, it's not currently in use, but I was calling it Black TV, and you can submit your you can submit your film, and we can actually display it on the site, and actually either have it behind a paywall or have it for free. But it's basically a central location where your film can actually be viewed. You know, whether you're submitting it to film festivals and you need a place to screen your film, or if you just did not want to, you know, upload it to YouTube, but you wanted to have a private link that you can send out to, you know, several people when you're entering into some of these contests. But I wanted to have a central location to where any and everything as it pertains to TV and film. And if you're an independent filmmaker, you can submit your work, and you know, people can come to the site and view it.
Okay. So there's a gentleman that I listen to. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. His name is Hilliard Guess, and he's been in the Hollywood game for a very long time. And he has an amazing podcast, Screenwriters Rant Room. And a few months ago, I was listening to a podcast, and he always has industry friends on, and they were talking about what you just pointed out regarding when people other than ourselves are reading our scripts. And he had a young lady there, and she said something so interesting. And my wife can really attest to this, because this is how she is when she goes to the store. She says, Black women never pick the first thing on the shelf. My wife always says, reach back to like the third or the fourth one, because they put the stale stuff up front.
Yeah.
Reach to the back to get the fresh stuff. And she said, that's a Black thing. So you may not, and no shade against anyone else, but there are certain nuances to how we talk. Right. So you may have a phenomenal script and you send it out to a reader, and readers not of color, and they could have certain vernacular and verbiage in that script, and it totally goes over their head, and they give you a score of 1. And you're saying, well, you didn't get what I said. And you know, it goes both ways. If you're writing a Schindler's List, that's something that I would never attempt, you know, unless I had some serious consultants that could sit me down and really walk me through that process. But Jess, you are an integral part of this entire process. I listened to an interview that Kevin did on Instagram, and he talked about how you came onto the team, and once you got there, his thing was, well, you ain't going nowhere now, you're an integral part of the team. So how did you find out about the BlkScript? How were you introduced to it?
So at that time, I was a personal assistant for an upcoming actor, and I wanted to get his name out there and get him on, you know, reputable podcasts. So I came up on the BlkScript, and I was like, who is this? I've never seen this before. You know, I loved, you know, his Instagram. But I felt like for it to be that good, his followers, like, they weren't there yet. So I reached out to him though. And I set up the interview, and, you know, we talked, and he asked me if I was, you know, representing anyone else. And like you said, I was just getting into the PR and personal assistant, that type world. So I didn't want to, you know, give a piece of myself to different places and not know that I'm not giving 100% to each. So I said, not right now. Then I ended up circling back to him, and, you know, and Kevin's an awesome guy. You know, he basically, we agreed that I would do the best I could, you know, and then, you know, we would just grow and learn together and bring each other up, you know. And ever since the first day, it's never been I. And Kevin was doing this for a year, you know, or 11 months before I came on. It was never I. It's always been we. And it just worked. And we've just been doing great since we met. So
yeah. Absolutely.
So exactly what do you do? What do you bring? Because you just said, oh yeah, I came on and I did some things, no, see, look, the way he described it, you are an extremely integral part of this team. So we're not going to do the humble pie thing here today, because there's a reason that you guys got to 25,000 followers in such a very short time. There's a reason for all of that. Kevin, you got it going on, but I know just, so
We got to give it to God though. Like I feel like God
absolutely.
has been, making things happen. I didn't
Mhm.
go to school to do anything I've been doing for the past almost 3 months.
Okay.
I knew a few people that were actors that were on, shows that people know. So when I came on, I hit them up like basically, hey, I just started working for this podcast. So you want to interview? And I didn't think that they would say yes, and they said yes.
Mhm.
And it just seemed like it went from people that I knew to people that I didn't know, but God led me to them and they would say yes to me. And that's how it started. So what I do is I set it up. I do all the when they speak to the BlkScript, it's usually me. I set them up. I put it on the calendar. And that's what I've been doing. I've always been an admin. So it's like I'm an admin, but in this acting world now. And it's been amazing since I've been doing it. Like I've met people, everyone that I watched last year on TV, I've met them. And yes, it's virtual. I knew if we were in a space where they could come and you sit down, they would have done it. But that's not where we're at right now.
Mhm.
So I've met them and it's been wild. It's been God's been real good to me, to both of us.
Can I add? Can I add
Please,
something to
please.
that? And so Jess, as she said, she's been handling a lot of the correspondence behind the scenes with all of the actors and a lot of the talent that we've been able to interview on our platform. But not just that, she goes above and beyond. She communicates with them on a level, on a human level. Lets them see that they're also human, that we're not just here for the interview. We actually are fans of theirs. We're interested in knowing what they have going on. We genuinely want to speak with them and have them on our show. And even beyond having them on our show, we make sure that we stay in touch with all of them. We become friends with them. So it's not just like a one-time thing. We've had several people come back and do meetings behind the scenes and whatnot. And Jess has been a integral part of that as far as connecting those dots and getting those people to interact with the platform and with what we are trying to do. Not trying, what we are doing with the BlkScript and the plan that we have moving forward. And so I commend her because she came in completely green. As she said, she was representing another aspiring actor at the time. And I asked her, would she be interested in assisting? And she was timid at first. And like she said, she circled back and she said, well, let me know what is it that you're looking for? How can I be a part of this? And I don't really know everything that there is about PR in these aspects. I'm just learning. And I said, well, I'm growing. And if you want, you can come on board and we can grow together and see where this takes us. I'm just looking for people who believe in it, have passion in it, and truly want to see this work. And
Okay.
so she came on board, and that's where we really got started.
So Jess, what do you do in your day-to-day job? Is it healthcare, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, I work in a medical office.
Okay, so you talk to people in the medical office, I'm guessing.
Yes.
So basically the skill that you've brought to this is a skill that was transferable.
Yes. Yes. When I first started in this type of world, because it was an actor that I was, the assistant to, I basically took my soft skills and then brought them to this world. So what I would do is I would do a lot of the pitching for podcasts. I would schedule things on the calendar like you would with medical. It was a lot of things that were similar, but
Mhm.
it is a different world and it's a lot more exciting because like I said, everyone that I watched last year, I've met and they know my name now. So it's
Mhm.
just been amazing that I could take those skills and then put them towards here.
So when you reach out, and I'm asking you all of these because I'm getting to a point. When you reach out to these actors and actresses and producers, executives in the industry, and you're new to this, but it's something about you that they trust. Um, what is your approach like when you initially reach out to them?
So honestly, I just ask them and I let them know because, of course, we would love them. I asked them if they would like to be, you know, a guest on the BlkScript. It's really the BlkScript that's bringing them to them because then they go on the website, they see what we're doing. And when they learn what the BlkScript is, it's not just a website, it's not just an Instagram page. They love it. Everyone loves the concept. So it's
Right.
really the BlkScript that brings them to me. I don't say anything that's why I said God has been like,
Yeah.
making stuff happen because people that I never would think would answer me have answered me.
Yeah.
Real blue checks. That would be, and even if it was 2 months away, from seeing the first initial when I send it, because it goes in a la la land because I'm not a blue check, so they don't see it.
Mhm.
And then when they see it, they're like, yes, I would love to. I love what you guys are doing. So that's why there's been some times where I wasn't sure who I was going to get that week, and I would pray about it, and then I would wake up at 3, 4 in the morning, and it'd be a DM from someone that I reached out to. So
Yeah. I would have to say there is no special sauce. It really has been nothing but God, and that also attributes to what I said in the beginning is,
Mhm.
even though I am an aspiring screenwriter, I completely put my aspirations of being a screenwriter to the side to focus on this because this idea came to me, out of the clear blue sky. Um, and as I was building it, people kind of gave me more ideas to add on to it. But each step of the way, there's been, these indications and signs of letting me know that what it is that we're doing is the right thing.
Mhm.
We get told all the time that what we have is special, and that they really love what it is that we're doing. We're providing exposure, education, information, opportunity, things of that nature. And these things do not exist currently in our culture, in TV and film. And yeah, we have to give all glory to God on that one
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
the only reason why this is working is because I truly believe we are walking in our faith, and this is what we're supposed to be doing right now.
Yeah. And here's the interesting thing. You say you're an aspiring screenwriter and you put this to the side.
Mhm.
But this is how God works. Now peep this. You're an aspiring screenwriter. For some strange reason, you come up with an idea to create a website where people can upload screenplays.
Mhm.
I'm going to put aside my screenwriting aspirations to help other people.
Right.
But in my humble opinion, by doing that, you've actually put yourself a lot closer to your goal because now you are being exposed to people that you otherwise would not have been exposed to if you had not come up with this idea.
Mhm.
And now you are developing relationships with people and you say, well, you know what? I was thinking about, writing this screenplay or I have this screenplay. Now you have relationships with people. And ladies and gentlemen, this is so important.
Right.
You have relationships, not transactions. You have relationships with people where they can say, you know what, Kevin, why don't you send that to me? The
Mhm.
same way you guys are doing, and we're about to talk the blind side, where you're having people send you scripts and things like that. You
Right.
now are beginning to build relationships with blue check people who will say, Kevin, why don't you send me that and I'll give you some feedback on it? Because you guys have built a level of trust, which is so important in this business because this is what they know about the two of you. You are not transactional,
Right.
and that you did not enter this as a transaction, that you enter into this to help. And when you enter into things to help people, that help then comes back to you. That's just my take on it.
Right. Absolutely. And you are 100% right. However, yes, we have been building relationships, networking, friendships
Mhm.
have come from this, and it's purely from the fact that we don't ask them for anything besides their time, and also a little bit of information, because having them on our podcast is a means of giving back to our community, our culture, and teaching our people how to get from where they're currently at to where they aspire to be. And that was my initial goal with the BlkScript. Once I saw beyond it being just a site for hosting screenplays, and even just the portion of having a script library on there, and you go and download screenplays from your favorite movies and favorite TV shows. All of that is free. I left it completely free. You can join the website for free. All of the information is free. There's 70 plus interviews that we've done, and there's nuggets and gems all throughout all of those interviews. And I try to ask all of the important questions that I feel are missing, as it pertains to whether you're a producer, a filmmaker, a screenwriter, an actor, a director, any of those things, and even people behind the scenes. And so I initially, in my mind, thought, if I do this, because at first I didn't even want to show my face. I wanted this to be completely anonymous. Let me just do something to give back to the community. I see that there's a void here. I'm not quite sure if I want people to know that it's coming from me, at least not yet. But then something told me, no, I actually have to show my face. That helps build trust. How am I going to get in front of the people if they don't know who I am, if they don't know what I look like, so on and so forth. And this is before Jess came on board, but I initially had to build that trust, and that's why I wanted to make sure that virtually everything is free. The only thing that costs right now on the site is if you submit your screenplay and you want feedback. Well, also if you submit your screenplay too, because we have script readers who are reading them, and then at the end they judge and give a rating, and it gets narrowed down until we find a winner, until we announce a winner. But besides that, everything else is completely free. I want to try to keep it that way as much as I possibly can. However, I know that at the end of the day, I'm building a business, and there's going to be certain aspects of it that's going to have to be for profit. But if I can create certain portions of it to be nonprofit and keep it nonprofit, where we bring in sponsors and investors and things of that nature, to where we don't have to dig into our community's pockets for this. We have people who actually will help fund it and sponsor it. That is the ultimate goal for the BlkScript, to build something that's going to be lasting. It's going to make change in the industry, and we don't have to worry about whether we're scouring the web for the information, or if, say, I can't afford to go to film school, or I can't afford to to get this education elsewhere. How am I going to get from where I am right now to where I aspire to be? And so that's what I initially set out to do with the BlkScript.
Okay. So the one question that I have for the both of you, because one of the things that I've done since I've been in this business is, I became a mentor for young filmmakers just getting into this business. And I know you guys get a lot of young filmmakers that are just getting into this business, or young people getting into the business period, regardless of, what discipline they come in under. One thing that I always tell them is that they're a sole proprietor, that you are a business, that you just can't think of yourself as an actor or a filmmaker or a cinematographer. You have to think of yourself as a business, because you do a job, the job ends, now you're looking for another job.
Right.
Are you guys going to, if you don't already have it, are you guys going to bring something on to where filmmakers, or again, people entering into this business that come to your website, are you guys going to have something where they're being taught the business of show business? Because a lot of times creatives just want to create and they forget about, well, you have to know how to read a contract.
Right.
There's certain language. When should I hire an entertainment attorney or things like that? So is that something that's coming down the line?
It's definitely something that I've thought of, and it is on the roadmap of the BlkScript.
Mhm.
But a lot of that information, I try to gather as much as I can,
Mhm.
talking to the folks that we interview. However, I know that yes, at some point I am going to have some form of either a curriculum or a master class, or maybe several people who are industry insiders and are professionals and have been doing this for quite some time and have the knowledge and insight to come on board and actually teach those courses. I've been in communication with several people about having courses on the platform. They just haven't materialized quite yet, but it's coming. And yes, that is something that I have been exploring. We're just not quite there yet as it pertains to making it happen and having something that's solid that will stick around. But it's in the works for sure.
Okay, because I was just thinking, and it just popped in my head. That's a phenomenal source of income, right
Yes.
there. I can give you the first 15 minutes for free, and if this is something you like, then you
You
can
get
subscribe to the. I mean, Udemy does it all the time with
right.
different courses. So let's talk about blind sides, because when I saw that, I said, "Ooh,
Yes.
that's different." So how did you come up with the concept of blind sides?
Okay. So I know we've been talking a lot more about the screenwriting aspect and then
Mhm.
also submitting films, but another large portion of the BlkScript, and I've been scratching my head probably since like month 2 or 3 of starting the BlkScript as to how am I going to help actors, because I thought about how I'm going to help screenwriters, how can I help filmmakers, how am I going to help actors, because I don't come from the acting world. I don't quite know what it is, where the problems lie, and what voids need to be filled. And so as I started to attract more guests, I started asking questions. And one of the biggest questions that actors have is that when they submit a self tape for an audition, they oftentimes submit it out into the void and hope to get some feedback. And oftentimes they may not hear anything back from the people that they are auditioning for, so on and so forth. And so I was like, how can I make that? How can I figure out something that would help actors and fill that void to where they can actually be seen? And it took quite some time.
Mhm.
And again, this was another instance where I was with my best friend. He's a barber, by the way, so I
Okay.
get these ideas when I'm in the barber chair, surprisingly. And we were just talking, bouncing ideas off each other, and lo and behold, I thought of the idea of, okay, I know quite a bit of actors now, both independent and also people who are in the industry. What if I create something that I can actually find one actor from here and one actor from here, and get them together in a room or virtual room and actually have them act out a scene virtually. And then, that was initially the beginning part of it. And then I was like, oh, but you know what? I can actually add writers to this and have writers submit sides. And a lot of times writers are trying to get their footing and trying to see if their writing is even good enough. Well, before they finish a screenplay or anything like that, what if they worked on sides or submitted a scene, between two people, mostly dialogue, limited action lines. And I have them submit those sides, and then I submit those to the actors and have them rehearse those sides. And then when they come on, all three of them will come on, actor one, actor two, and the writer. And I have them act out those sides online.
Mhm.
And just to take it a step further, what if I had somebody from the industry that I now know and now have a relationship with come on and actually watch them act out these sides and then give real-time feedback to them? So the name Blind Sides comes from the fact that they won't know of each other before they come on to the platform and actually act out the sides, hence the name Blind Sides. And I thought it was a clever way, a clever play on words, and it made sense. And it was a new way to where I can actually do this virtually and showcase it online, to where social media people, their fans and the other actors' fans and the writers' fans, and also whoever the industry person's audience can now tune in, and our audience, our eyes that we're building, can all tune in. And now actor one, actor two, and the writer are all getting exposure. And they get real-time feedback before they even get off of the call. And it's completely free to the actor, completely free to the writer. And at the end of the day, that provides potential possibility, opportunity, because you never know who's watching. And we have a lot of people watching. So I said, why not utilize the eyes that we have gained and start to focus it on all of the talent and all the different areas all across this country. And that I can also say across the world too, because we're now getting international attention as well. And so, yeah, the Blindsides has the potential to be something huge, and we're working on building it up into something that is a discovery platform, and will hopefully help launch actors' careers, writers' careers, and or at least put them in the right light, and go from there.
Right. So that's beautiful. So Jess, with that portion of the blind sides, because of course you have the face where the actors, they get in the virtual room and they do their thing. But let's talk about the behind the scenes, which I'm sure you're an integral part of, with the logistics of all of that. Putting the actors together and making sure that they have their sides and making sure that they show up on time. So have you, if that's the aspect of it that you do handle, so have you ever run into a situation where you're talking with the actors and they're not giving you their 100% personal best? Have you run into that yet with this? I know the Blind Sides is pretty new, but have you run into that situation yet?
So I feel like our first Blindsides, we kind of knew at least one of the actors. And we knew that he was going to show up, and we knew of the other. They both, showed up and showed out. Kevin explained it to me multiple times. Every time, we discussed it. In my head, I tried to picture it because, again, this is a new world to me. But when it was real time, it was amazing. They both did a great job, and both of them, it was way more than what I thought it would be, and I was excited for what was next. So, and Kevin and I sat down and we discussed who it was going to be on there and where from, we were going to get them. So we had that discussion before we reached out to them. We have not come to the situation where someone may have not brought their best. And honestly, I feel like we filter, that's the talent that we've, may have interviewed or have contact with, so that hopefully we never have to deal with, that, hopefully. But yeah, it was amazing the first time.
Okay.
They brought their A1 game.
Yeah, I would say that the actors that we are choosing, of course, we are scouring on our end. We are the ones that are scouring all of these platforms. We're asking people to submit their acting reel or their a self-tape, maybe even from a previous audition or something like that, just to kind of showcase their acting ability. We don't know of everybody, and so we're actively looking. And we're getting some great submissions, both on the actor side and on the writer side. So we're excited about these next few episodes of Blindsides once we film those. But we're looking for a certain level of professionalism, passion, hunger. You can be green, but you have to come with it, because at the end of the day, we're providing a spotlight on you, and we're also bringing in somebody from the industry, and we don't want to waste these folks' time. And so the people that we want to bring onto this platform, we feel like they have a chance to to take it to the next level. All that's missing is that they just need that exposure and that attention. And so, maybe for the early stages of Blind Sides, we are definitely going to curate it. But as time goes on, we will loosen those reins a little bit and allow for more green talent to come in. It's just a matter of building up the platform, getting it to a point to where it's rock solid, and we know what it is that we're doing and it's working. So we have one episode in. We're working on episode 2 and 3 of Blind Sides, and we have a lot more submissions than we have Blind Sides right now. So it's coming for sure.
Have you guys ever watched Inside the Black Box on Crackle TV?
No.
Watch Inside the Black Box.
Okay.
On Crackle TV.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Blame it on my head and on my heart. Tracy Morgan, and I actually interviewed on this show. She's a phenomenal casting director in the industry. She's been in the industry for over 30 years, and she co-hosts the show with Joe Morgan from Scandal. It is an absolutely amazing show. That may give you guys some ideas. Because they basically have actors act out scenes, and they've had some phenomenal people in there, Felicia Rashad, and some other amazing people. But that is definitely a show that you guys should check out. But I want to talk about the networking aspect of your website, because networking is such an integral part of this business, because as they normally, as they say, it's not your net worth, it's your network. So how is that portion of your website work?
Yeah, as far as the part of the platform where you can actually sign up and create a profile, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
So when you first go to the website, and you hit the homepage, of course, you're going to be hit with a lot of information. There's entertainment news, there's featured scripts, there's the latest interviews that we've done. There's also resources and also the buttons of where you can actually submit your screenplay and also submit for Blind Sides. But about 30 seconds into visiting the website for the very first time, you're going to get a pop-up, and that pop-up is going to say, join now, and it's going to ask you to enter in your information. And you can actually sign up just as you would if you signed up for Instagram or Facebook. And you can create a profile picture. You can list your information. You can state what it is that you do, whether you're SAG or non-union. And you can also create a bio, provide links in there, things of that nature. That is pretty much what that is. And then there's also a forum where you can actually jump in there and create new topics or communicate with some of the folks that are currently on there. I will say, because it's still relatively new, it takes a while to get people to, familiar with joining. I feel like a lot of people visit the website more so than they join, but if you join, it's definitely a good resource, because there are other like-minded individuals that are on there who are also aspiring actors, writers, filmmakers, and you guys it's just another layer of how you can share information within this industry and things that you might know or not know, and it's a central location where you can learn. So yeah,
and the beauty of that, if people don't understand the power of relationships, here's a little story. I remember listening to John Goodman talk about when him and Bruce Willis years ago, before they made it, and they would sit in a bar after working an off times 25 Broadway show. It was that off. It was so off, it was off. But the relationships that they built, that they took with them into Hollywood.
Right.
And, I'll just use myself as an example. When I went to my first American Black Film Festival back in 2007, and I met some amazing people, and we were all starting out. Now, if I told people where some of these people are right now, they would not believe me. But the networks and the friendships that people build is just priceless. So the fact that they can come on your website, and ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to be listening to this in the future, if you are in this business, you really need to go to this website and join up. And here's why. You talk about inaccessibility in this industry and some things that you cannot get to.
Right.
And oftentimes when you can't get to something, you end up building your own something.
Mm-hmm.
And what better way to build something than with people that you know and trust? And oftentimes, if you look in Hollywood, let's take Spike Lee when he was, doing all of his films. If you looked at all of his films, Do the Right Thing, She's Gotta Have It, you keep seeing the same people over and over and over again. That's because they've built relationships. So that aspect of your website, I don't think people really know the value of it yet, because trust me, people will go on that website and you start making friends and you start talking, and you may need a cinematographer, and the cinematographer is sitting right there. Gary, and I'm going to get back to you in a second, but Gary Vaynerchuk and Issa Rae talk about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So many times people want to get to them, and they're very frank about, you ain't getting to me because we're not in the same space. But what you fail to do is you fail to look at that person sitting across from you, in front of you, and behind you. Mm-hmm. And if they sign up and network for you, and I'm preaching about this because it's so important, but if they sign up for your website, they are building something where one of them may get a job at All Black. And if I trust you as a showrunner, if I trust you as a screenwriter, if I trust you as a cinematographer, why am I not going to put in work for you? So,
yeah, you just never know, man. At the end of the day, you don't know who's watching, and that doesn't only speak to people who are in the industry. There's tons of talented people out here, tons of creative people out here that are dying to work, have a passion to create films or to act or to write. They're just looking for other like-minded people to connect with, so that way everybody has a missing piece to the puzzle, right? And so at the end of the day, you might be that missing piece to somebody else's puzzle. But it just takes communicating, getting in front of these people, saying, here's what it is that I can do. What is it that you do? Oh, you do this. I'm actually looking for somebody who is a director or a PA or, a grip, or, it doesn't have to be, people in front of the camera. It could be people behind the scenes too. So yeah, it's just a matter of communicating, not being afraid to speak to people, and finding a way to make it happen.
Yeah. So can never unsee, can never unheard media. Tracy Moore is the lady that runs Inside the Black Box. Amazing. But they were saying they just read how you transitioned from hip hop as an artist to photography, talking about the Canon T3i. And they also mentioned the both of us interviewing one of my favorite people, Shannon E. Johnson. But let's talk about, and before we get to that, you said something about that missing piece. Mm-hmm. And you are a testament to that, because Jess was somebody you were looking for. You ain't even know it.
Yeah, absolutely. Jess is my missing piece to my puzzle. And I knew I needed folks. I can't do this alone. And even outside of Jess, there's more people that are needed for the BlkScript to work. But for between the two of us, what we've been able to do, we've been able to grow this company, rather quickly, and it's working with two people. Imagine if it was 5, imagine if it was 10, imagine if it was 20, 25, where this would be right now. And we work at a level to where when you see what we're doing and how we operate, it looks like we've been doing this for years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Black Buzz, you have so much on your website, Black Buzz, but before that, you were in the rap game. So
Yes.
I just gotta ask, what type of rap was it? Was it, you know, like a Tribe Called Quest, or was it more along the lines of, you know, the hardcore stuff?
Okay. So I would say I was somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
It was not gangster rap.
Hmm.
I would consider myself more on the lyrical side, but I also love to create commercial sounding music, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Kind of like a J. Cole, but more so of his commercial hits opposed to you know, some of his album cuts. Same thing with like Kendrick, like Jay-Z, Kendrick, J. Cole,
Hmm.
those kinds of artists are my favorite artists. And that's the style that I tried to emulate. Coming up in this in the music game, it's been a while. I've hung up the mic well over a decade ago, but I've been on BT 3 times. I did
Oh, okay.
106 Park when Free and AJ were the hosts. I did not win. However, I should have won. But and this is them telling me after the show was over,
Okay.
and so they actually invited me back to do BET Spring Bling in Daytona. This is 2003, same year as 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying came out, and it was their first year of doing Spring Bling freestyle battle competition. If you could find the footage, you can find the footage. I'm not gonna tell you where to find it because that's in my past. But anyway, I actually won that rap battle, and I kind of experienced a local level celebrityism for about a good year or so here in Virginia, where you know, I would walk the mall, I would walk to Walmart or whatever, and I would get bum rushed all the time, constantly.
Mm.
But I wasn't signed at that time. I did end up getting a manager. I was close to signing a record deal through Universal Sony. It just didn't pan out. You know, before I had facial hair, you know, people often kind of considered me to look a lot like Little Bow Wow, and I wasn't trying to look like Little Bow Wow and or try to have that kind of sound. So I kind of passed on the offers that they were, you know, presenting to me at that time. Um, Make a long story short, I feel, this is just me. I feel like I aged out, and so because I felt that way, I hung up the mic and started to. I still had the itch to create, still had the itch to write, and I took that talent and started to focus it on screenwriting and
Mhm.
storytelling because I knew I still had a talent, and I still wanted to utilize the talent just in a different way. And so that's how I started my journey into storytelling, screenwriting, um, and it led me to where I am today. And I feel like that was meant to happen in order for me to get to where I am today. And through all of that process, just kind of bring everything else full circle. And like I said, I had a little bit of a, you know, website background as well. While I was still pursuing music, I also attempted to, well, I actually did create a website early 2000s. It was called Bump Magazine, and Bump stood for Best in Urban Music and Promotion.
Mm.
And I took it upon myself to interview all up and coming and aspiring rappers at that time. I interviewed Clips, I interviewed Soldier Boy, I interviewed Sean Kingston, I interviewed Joe. Like the list goes on, Crime Mob, like a whole bunch of rappers that were big at the time.
Mhm.
Uh, and we actually became one of the top 3 or 4 hip hop websites. It was a hip hop magazine website online at the time, behind allhiphop.com. And allhiphop.com at that time was number one. There weren't really many hip hop websites out there that you can get a lot of information, but you had to build each page individually, one by one, actually bring all the pieces together. I would sit in my car on my lunch break, do all these interviews on my cell phone. I had a little pocket recorder and record all the interviews, and I had to manually type everything out. This is before AI, before transcribing, before all of that stuff. So I just took all of the knowledge that I had from building those websites, and I was like, you know what? I do have this background. I do have this knowledge. I've been sitting on it forever and just never did anything with it. What if I took all of that and actually focused it on something that could actually help in this community. I'm a movie lover. I've always been a movie lover, and that's why I transitioned into writing screenplays, because I felt like that would be my place. But obviously, God had a bigger plan for me.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's amazing just listening to your story.
Yeah,
It's amazing how people have a certain skill set and they kind of lock themselves into thinking that this is the only thing that I can do with that particular skill set.
right.
Whereas people with an entrepreneur type mindset, they basically say, well, you know what? If I can do that with this here, then why can't I do it with that somewhere else? And just I wanted to ask you, the fact that you said you didn't go to school for PR, but you seem to have a natural knack for this particular thing because how did you get in contact with this actor, and how did you become the person that actually represented this actor, because you, as you said, you didn't have a background in PR. So how did that happen?
So I have a large following, well, a semi-large following on TikTok, and
Mm,
we became TikTok friends. And I had just watched a movie that he was in, so we were talking back and forth. And he really asked me, "What do you do, to have so many followers?" Because I was telling him some pointers as to what he can do to grow his following. And then from that conversation, he asked, if I could be a social media manager. But when I came on, I always try to be the best. If I start a new job, I would learn everything in like 2 days.
mhm.
I go above and beyond. So the things that I was setting up for him, it became more than social media managing. It was just like I was his personal assistant. I did a lot. So that's how, I came about that.
So where does this talent come from? Where does this talent come from?
You mean originally when I first
Yes,
started?
yes. Where, because you don't just up in one day say, hey, I'm going to do this. Where did you, how did this come about? You have a large following on TikTok. So how did you go about amassing such a phenomenal following? And I'm going to have to go look it up. But how did you end up amassing such a following on TikTok, and then being able to have other people grow as exponentially as you have? Where does that come from?
So I I had a few videos go viral. I have children. And we all have big personalities.
Mhm.
So a few of the videos went viral, and that's where my following came from.
Okay.
So like I said, I watch a lot of Tubi movies, and a Tubi actor and I became friends. And at first I didn't think it was really that person because they didn't have a large following. So I started telling them to post, around, after 7 o'clock when everyone's home and scrolling, do some lives a couple times a week so people know it's you. They may think it's a fake page. So it was just pointers like that that I gave him, that he was like, we could help each other, and then that's how it started. So he
But
was able,
how? But how? But how? But how? But
I
how?
feel like God made
What
it
what what
happen.
made you what made you say scroll after 7? Did you find this information somewhere, or was
I
that just something that's just like a natural knack is what I'm getting at?
You know what? I saw a video on TikTok when I started growing my followers, because
Mhm,
at first I had a couple videos that went viral and people were like, being really mean and saying crazy stuff. So I was getting
mhm.
ready to get off, but my sons were like, "No, mom, just ignore it, as long as they, interact on there, So I used to scroll a lot, and I saw a video where some guys were giving pointers, to do that. So when I would post, I would just post in the evening when I know, people were home. And I even got my mom on TikTok. Like, she scroll, because honestly, when you start scrolling, you'll be on it for an hour and don't even know it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it was videos that I saw, and I just, shared that information that I feel like helped me. So,
Okay, okay. Because I'm like, damn. So basically I am posting at the wrong time of the day. Is what you Because I normally post in the morning.
And is this on TikTok? Because it's actually different on
YouTube.
every single platform is different. I'll say that. Every single platform has a different algorithm, and there's all types of YouTube gurus, TikTok gurus, Instagram gurus, and they tell you to do this, post after this time, make sure you have this in your bio, make sure you're putting XYZ tags in there, or whatever keywords. It's I feel like at the end of the day, it's really a combination of both, or all of those things, but it's also a matter of being consistent and repetitious, and showing up on a daily basis. Maybe YouTube, it might not be daily, it might be weekly, or 2 or 3 times a week, or every 2 weeks, but you have to stay consistent as to whatever your posting schedule is. You have to stay consistent at that, and over time your algorithm will start to pick up on your behavior, and once it learns your behavior, it'll start to feed your content out to those people during those times. Now, are there times that make more sense because, as just said, more people are at home, more people are unwinding and scrolling, or tuning in and watching? Yes, but I don't necessarily think that is 100% true for everybody. I feel like it depends on what platform you're on and what your content is. I think is really the deciding factor. And to be quite frank, with everything that we've been doing with the BlkScript IG page, a lot of it has just been test case scenario, seeing what works, seeing what sticks, and then once I see something that's actually working, then I'm a double and triple and quadruple down on it until I see that it's becoming an issue, and then or if it's not getting the numbers that it's not supposed to be getting, then I'm like, okay, let me ease back. Maybe it's not 4 posts a day, maybe it's 3 posts a day, or maybe it's 2 posts a day. Maybe it's not first thing in the morning, maybe it's later in the evening. And so I've done all types of testing, to see what works. And then not only that, I also work to compete with some of these other platforms that have been around for years. So that way, when you see our content, you align it with everybody else's.
Okay. So what's next for the two of you, and what's next for the BlkScript?
Okay. You want me to answer that, Jess? I can answer it. So right now, in the immediate future, I will say our focus is, for at least for the next 3 weeks, is Blindsides and ABFF. Right now, we're gearing up to go to ABFF. I will be there the entire time. So if you guys are going to ABFF, if any of you going to ABFF, make sure you look for the guy in the BlkScript hat. I won't be wearing a hoodie in the summer in Miami, but I will have BlkScript gear on for sure. I am a walking billboard nonstop to promote the BlkScript. And so yeah, if you see me, please feel free to come up, ask questions, things of that nature. But yeah, so I'm focused on ABFF. Looking forward to networking with everybody, getting the BlkScript in front of people and talking to all of them about the BlkScript, talking to all of them about Blindsides, and the plans that we have for both, moving forward. And outside of that is just focusing on Blindsides first, because we're serious about building this discovery platform, a launch pad for actors and writers, and we feel very strongly about it, and we know it's going to work. We've communicated this with all types of people in the industry, and a lot of people are excited to see where it goes, which adds to our excitement as well, because once you pitch it and people give you that feedback, especially people in the industry, and they see that it's something that hasn't been done before, it just shows that we're on the right track, and that we have something that is going to be huge for a lot of people moving forward, once we get all the quirks out of the way and get it down pat to where we want it. So really, that's just the focus is Blind Sides, which is powered by the BlkScript, and which BlkScript is powered by the people. If you guys have not been to the website, again, I'll say it one more time, www.theblkscript.com. And if there's any investors or sponsors out there, we're also looking for investors and sponsors. Let's get behind this platform. Let's build something for our culture and our community, and let's begin to raise each other up, because we need platforms like this.
Absolutely.
And there's also one other thing I would like to say.
Please.
I did not mention, and I will mention for the BlkScript, we have the Black Buzz section, which is entertainment news.
Run the whole thing down, brother. We got time. Run the whole website down. We have time.
Okay, so when you go to the home screen, you have the home page. It has a little bit of everything that you can find on the site. But the Black Buzz section is all the entertainment news. It involves all actors, screenwriters, filmmakers of color that are doing things within the industry. So our news is geared more towards who's doing what in whatever film, but it focuses on, the people of color in that aspect. Then we have a script library, well over 100 scripts, screenplays on there, and teleplays. So some of your favorite movies and TV shows are located on the script library. 100% free to go on there and download them, read them, and cut on your favorite TV show, that particular episode or that particular movie, and actually follow along and see how that screenwriter wrote the screenplay and how it actually plays out on, on your screen. Then we have Black TV. Again, like I said, Black TV initially is supposed to house films that are submitted to us, but right now that's kind of under wraps. So under Black TV, you'll see Black Storytellers, which is our podcast. We have all types of people from the industry come on, both independent and also people, major stars and people who are doing big things in Hollywood, so to speak. And I ask them all types of important questions as it pertains to how they got their start and what are some of the things that, actors, screenwriters, filmmakers, and what have you can do to get to where they're at today. Then you have the network section where you can actually join for free. There's over 300 members in there currently. We're looking to add more, so please join, share what you have going on in the community, add to the forum, create new topics, all of those things. And then we have the submissions page where you can actually submit your screenplay. We currently have the our annual screenplay list is open. So if you have a screenplay for a feature film, short film, 30-minute episode, 60-minute episode, pilots, you can submit your screenplay for review. That's open until August. And then once it closes in August, then we'll go ahead and review those. I have script readers behind the scenes that will review those screenplays and actually provide feedback if you want it. And then, we will announce a winner once we narrow it down. Then we also have the resources tab. I'm currently building up the resources tab and to provide more resources there, more education. And that kind of leans on towards what you were saying earlier, as far as having people come on and teach things and train. That's probably where that information is going to lie, somewhere in the resources, or maybe even might be behind the network. I haven't quite figured that out yet. It might be behind the network, but I'll still try to make it to where it's either free or affordable, but you have to be a member to get that information. But again, the membership is free. And then I have the shop. If you want to buy a hat, if you want to buy a hoodie, or any type of apparel, you can always go onto the shop and buy the apparel. But as of right now, I'm the walking billboard.
Okay. Well, I say affordable, make it affordable, because ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, this is a business.
Right.
They are bringing you guys. Here's my thing on this. If you are in this business and you truly want to succeed, then one of the things that you must do for yourself is invest. So when they get to a point where they're charging a fee
Mhm.
for phenomenal content to level up your game, that is an investment. I never look at when I'm spending money for certain things. I never look at it in that mindset. I never look at it like I'm spending money.
Right.
I always look at it from the standpoint of I am investing into my business. I'm going to go back to it. Everyone that is listening to this podcast or will be listening to this episode, you are a business. You are a sole proprietor. You are an independent contractor. And if your goal is to do bigger and better roles, to get bigger and better film projects, you must invest in your education. So if you go to the BlkScript.com website, which you should do, and sign up so you can get all of the resources that the website has to offer for free.
Mhm.
When everything else comes down the pipe, you can say to yourself, that's something that I'm going to invest in. And just let me say this. You will be separated from a lot of people because a lot of people don't like investing in themselves.
Yeah.
So when you invest in yourself, trust me, you will stand out. And as more people learn about this website and learn about this movement, because this is exactly what it is, when you start to do certain things and start to ingest certain things and you start to talk a certain way, people will notice that and they're going to be like, oh, you know what? They must have been on the Kevin website. They must have been talking to Jess because certain language
Right.
starts to bear out. So
Mhm.
I just say that to say when they get to that point with the resources, do not hesitate to take part in the resources that will be given to you because again, you will stand apart and you will stand out because what you want to do is you don't want to be the fish in that red sea. You want to be the fish in that blue sea. There's an analogy, blue sea, red sea. You want to be in the blue sea where you're all by yourself as opposed to the red sea where you're swimming around with all the other sharks. But this has been absolutely amazing. But before we go, where else can people find you besides the BlkScript? And Jess, any parting words?
I'll let Jess start.
I just want to definitely thank you for inviting me as well. I already told you this is my first interview ever,
And you did phenomenal.
thank you. So I really appreciate you taking time, out and speaking to us, and hopefully we'll speak to each other again soon.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Where can they find you, Jess? Give your social media handle.
So for social media, I'm on Instagram. It's Jess Mifflin _PR. So I'll be there. For my Facebook, it's Jessica Mifflin. And for my TikTok, it's jessmifflin.pr.
All right. And for me, of course, you can go to www.theblkscript.com. That is the platform, theblkscript.com. As far as Instagram, it's at the BlkScript. YouTube, it's at BlkScript, or you can just search BlkScript. And you'll see all of the interviews that we've done. As like I said, 70 plus interviews that we've done so far. And I mean, you can find me on TikTok under at the BlkScript, but I haven't really done much there in quite some time. And on Facebook, we have a Facebook page if you search for the BlkScript as well. Other than that, I want to say that, if you have something in your heart and mind that a dream that you want to follow, make sure that it's something that you're passionate about and that you truly want to do it. And don't let anything stop you or get in the way from pursuing that dream. Be relentless. Have a certain level of delusion when it comes to your dream, but also be realistic. But follow your dream. Don't let anybody sway you from that. And even if it's not a dream, if it's your calling, if it's your passion, if it's, you know, something that you've always wanted to do, you just never had the courage to do it, and, you know, step out there and do it. Every day you wake up, you have that opportunity to start, and all it takes is for you to start. That's
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Busta Rhymes says it's only delusional until it works.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, I had to learn that, you know, and I actually approached this with a certain level of delusion. And that delusion has gotten me to where I am today, where we are today. And, you know, the amount of eyes that are paying attention to the BlkScript, that are championing what we are doing, and, you know, are excited to see where we take it next, is unbelievable. And I couldn't have done it without, you know, these folks who also believe in what it is that we are trying to do, that we are doing.
Yes, sir.
I said it again.
Oh, wow. You know what? You said something, man. And we were about to end this, but I'm reading Deion Sanders' latest book. And one of the chapters, he talked about believe and belief.
Yeah.
And you said believed, and you just basically pointed out what he said. He said believed is basically what you're doing now. You believe that you could do it. He said belief is what people have told you your whole life, because you would have never believed that at this point in time that you would be sitting on something this phenomenal. The belief was, oh, y'all can't do this, because that was people's belief system, because no one else has done it. So that's the belief system. But the fact that you two believed that it was possible, and then you started it, that's crazy. That's I guess that's why he is where he is, because you know, it is what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been an absolutely amazing hour and a half almost. Doesn't feel like that, but you know, we've shared some amazing information, and we will definitely have Kevin and Jess back on the show, because again, they are doing so many amazing things. Please make sure that you follow both of them on their social media, and make sure that you go to theblackscript.com and sign up. Now, if you decide to contact either one of these people, please do it through the proper channels, and email them. And when you email them, please be professional in your email. Don't slide in nobody DMs. Do it the professional way, because guess what? They're very busy. Their time, you know, we ain't being bougie, but their time is very precious. So if you decide to reach out to them, please be professional and you're reaching out to them, and be serious about what you're reaching out to them for, because that definitely goes a long way. But again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining myself, your humble host, Floyd Marshall Jr., the amazing Jess Mifflin, and the incomparable Kevin Marable, founder and creator of the BlkScript, and Jess Mifflin, PR extraordinaire. Look, I'm still trying to figure that thing out. We're gonna have to talk offline.
Okay.
But
Thank you, Floyd. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Like I said, man, there's no special sauce, man. It's just hard work, dedication, and consistency. And day in and day out, we eat, breathe, sleep the BlkScript. And even when we don't have, that's one last thing just to add.
Please.
I'm sure you're also wondering, as far as the IG platform, a certain level of what I love to do. I also have a background in research, and that comes from me doing interviews and stuff myself. But I also enjoy the curation of it all. And so a certain portion of what we're doing, at least on the IG side of things, and also with the script library, is curation. And we're showcasing what we feel are great, phenomenal clips, things that bring engagement, and things that also pertain to Black culture, acting, screenwriting, filmmaking, every aspect of it, whether it be comedy, drama, romance, horror. We try to showcase all of that on the platform and give it a certain level of exposure, and also to give flowers to the folks who make these things, because as I'm learning, doing this process, I didn't know that. At first, I thought there wasn't that many people in the industry, but I'm starting to learn that there's a lot of us in the industry, but we are hidden or we are unknown. And so a part of what we're trying to do is provide that spotlight and give you your flowers while you're here. There's people who've been been at this for 20 plus years, and there's no website or no platform that's really giving them recognition beyond an article that might say their name once or twice, or maybe show their picture once or twice, but nobody's asking them about their career or about their journey or about how they got into this business, and what should other aspiring actors who might look up to that person, what do they need to do, so on and so forth. So I use myself as a student, and I approach all of this as a student in order to get the information and bring it back to the people, so that way we have a central hub of information for actors, screenwriters, and filmmakers of color.
Yeah. And you know what? A lot of times the people that aren't front and center are the reason that the front and center people are so successful.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because they're doing the behind the scenes work, and the amount of knowledge that they have is unbelievable. I'm a part of this organization in Philadelphia called the Film Factory, and we teach kids, let me see, 7th to 9th grade, every aspect of the film business. There are over 200 jobs on a film set.
Yeah.
Most people think actor, actress, and that's it. But somebody got to point that camera, somebody got to feed them, somebody got to clothe them, got to do their hair, line producers, things like that. People that you never see. But when you sit down in a movie theater and you watch a film, all of those people played an integral role.
Yes.
And furthermore, they make good money.
Great money.
So,
yeah.
Oh man. So
some cases, yeah.
Yeah. So if people are thinking, well, I want to get into this business, you don't necessarily have to be in front of the camera to do that, because everything that you see on a movie set is in the real world. And a perfect example of that, ladies and gentlemen, I know we said we was getting out of here 5 minutes ago, but this is so important. A perfect example of that is the woman that is sitting on this podcast with me right now.
Yeah.
Because she was not anywhere in this industry. You feel me? And now she is becoming a part of one of the most successful ventures to hit the ground. Furthermore, she is using the experience from her current position to build this.
Right.
So if you're thinking, well, I need to do a certain thing to be in this business. No, you don't. All you have to do is be skilled and talented, and whatever you know how to do, you can find a job in this industry. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. So we're definitely going to have to talk about that more in part 2, because I'm gonna let you guys get out of here, because I've kept you long enough.
You're fine.
Yeah,
all good, man. Well, I enjoyed this conversation, and thank you so much for having us on your platform. We truly appreciate it. And this was great.
Yeah.
Like I said, we haven't really done too many interviews, so anytime we get a chance to talk about the BlkScript, that's what we want to do, and we want to get more exposure and more eyes on the platform itself.
Yes. Yes. Someone can never unsee, can never unheard. Multimedia said your gift will make room for you every time.
Yes.
Every time. Believe that. But okay, now we're going to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation with. Please make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to the Apple Podcast, because again, we love bringing you absolutely amazing guests such as Jess and Kevin. And look, leave a comment. I like the show. I didn't like the show. Floyd, you could do more of this. You could do more of that. Or you can let Jess talk more. I'll do that. So again, ladies and gentlemen.
Fun fact, Floyd, I don't like being on camera or anything.
You live phenomenal. So you're just a natural at this.
Thank you.
You're a natural at this. But again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of this amazing conversation that I had with these two outstanding people. And I will end it as I always do. Love this like a hobby, but treat it like a business. And everyone have an absolutely amazing, phenomenal night. Peace.